guys, how's it going? In today's video, I'm going to be talking about a big old beauty kit here. This is by Pixi. This is one of those brands that's available at Target if you're not familiar. I saw this past weekend and it just really caught my eye in the store, and then I got home and I showed it on Instagram, on my Instagram stories, and I got an overwhelming response as far as people being interested in seeing a look and a review with this. This is called the Ultimate Beauty Kit 5th edition, so the 5th time they've done this thing, and it's a fold-out palette. And what really caught me actually in the store, and this might seem kind of boring, I don't know, but seeing this all matte panel, I just knew that it was going to have potential, right? And then you fold it out. There is a clear sheet to keep track of, but it's not a real flimsy one. It's kind of stiff. So if we're going to have a clear sheet, I guess it's good that it's something a little more durable that's not just going to get all rumpled up. But I think you want to keep that because this panel folds directly in on your face products. So my friends, it's a panel of 20 matte eyeshadows. Over here, 20 shimmer or satin finish shadows. And in the middle, you've got 9 different face products. Just looking vertically, you might think, okay, there's bronzer, blush, and highlight. But as I'll explain further, I mean, I think we've got one true blush in here as far as I'm concerned. And I wish they would have branched out a bit more and given us a little extra in terms of real blush shades. But for $32, there's a lot happening in here, a lot of really good quality. I've done a few looks with it and I've been super impressed, not just with the eye colors, but also, I mean, look at that glow I'm getting on my cheeks here. I sort of contoured myself today. I've got the blush on and also a highlight, and I think it's just really radiant. So before I show you the look, which is gonna just include the stuff in this palette, and it's gonna be talk through style so I can really, you know, focus on some specifics here, I wanted to just take you through my swatches of the palette. So starting off with the matte eyeshadows, I swatched first these two leftmost rows and then the 2 right rows. And in terms of having basic mattes, like, you are so loaded up with this palette because they did a really good job giving us kind of a spectrum of that. You know, like, we've got our black, we've got several different really dark browns, a lot of medium browns, almost more medium browns than you might need. I think there are some really close shades there, but you've got warm tones, you've got cooler tones. As you look on to the next 2 rows, you've got a great dark rusty brown, an interesting like soft orange shade. And if you or somebody you know is just trying to kind of build up their collection and mainly stick to neutral shadows, this is so nice. And the quality of these mattes, as far as I'm concerned, is everything you'd need. Many of us have been in that position where maybe we've got a really, really nicely pigmented palette and one tap into the product and you suddenly feel flooded with a little too much and you're not quite sure where to go with it. These are plenty pigmented, but I don't feel intimidated by them. I can quickly build them to the place I want to be, but they're not overly flaky and dusty and hard to control. So I really appreciate that. I think they're very user-friendly. If it were me making this palette, I would have maybe gone a little less on like these medium browns and popped in something plummy or burgundy. Surprise, surprise, right? But I still think, as far as basics go, this is a really nice selection, and it just excited me to see that in the store. And then let's skip over to the other eyeshadow side. These are shimmer finishes. You've got 3 right in here, which I can't wait to do a look that incorporates these because these are surprisingly beautiful. These satin finishes, 1, 2, 3. Seeing them in the pan doesn't really do them justice because they have a beautiful, like, kind of, I don't know, smoky, bronzy, plummy kind of thing. It's really interesting. They're beautiful shades. It's really well balanced though, because you've got some absolutely on fire coppery and bronzy shades and gold, and also rust and kind of pinky red. But then I think it's very well balanced with some cool, deep chocolatey browns. You've got some really nice, like, soft highlighter colors as well to play with. You might find a shade or two, like this shade, for example, when I build that up on the eyes, it's just a little flakier than I'd like. That color right there is probably the worst offender, but it's still totally usable and I can get there with my look. I think short swiping motions work really well with these shadows because they do have the feeling of being very buttery creamy to the touch, and with the gentle tug across the lid. I've described that technique with the Once palette that I did with Revolution. That's where you really see the best color payoff, I think. And just in terms of how those particular mattes complement these shades here, they really do. You've got all the rich, warm mattes that you would need to jump in with those golds and bronzes, and then you've got cooler mattes to work with the taupes and medium browns. So I think that's really cool, and the fact that there are face colors in here makes this just super multitasking, super travel friendly. A lot of variety here in terms of bronzer shades. 1 matte bronzer, 2 that have shimmer. This shade might kind of function like a bronzer for you too. A rosy blush, which is gorgeous, this kind of peachy, almost blush topper shade, and 3 types of highlight. I love the texture textures here because even though a lot of these things have some shimmer, they're not dry and flaky. They look really smooth and natural on the skin. My only complaint would be I wish we had like a couple more blush shades just for variety's sake, because this is really the only true blush on me in this panel. And out of 9 shades, I think it's kind of surprising they went that direction. But now that you've had a chance to see the swatches, I want to take you through my look. So it'll be face steps first and then the eyes. So right now, all I have done is my foundation, concealer, powder, and brows. So I'm gonna go straight to the face panel of this palette. I'm gonna have to keep track of that loose sheet because I do want that to always stay between these two that are folding into each other. It's gonna be a little hard to show, isn't it? I'll hold it this way, that's probably the easiest. You can see our 3 kind of bronzer type shades here. The one in the middle is matte, and then we have, I think, a slightly deeper shade that has a satiny finish and a little bit cooler shade as well. So I'm gonna start off with the matte and then kind of accent things with those other colors however I need to. And right now I've just got the palette sitting on my lap, which kind of works, you know, as far as just a place to put it if you're able to sit down and do your makeup. Okay, that lightest bronzer is very light. I'm going to continue with it. See if you can see it a little bit. It's very, very light. Fair skin would probably be really pleased to have that there. Like, I think I can see just the softest definition to my skin tone, but pretty light. Then I think I'll go to this little bit warmer shade, and this does have, like I said, a satin finish. May or may not translate a lot on camera because I'm very like brightly lit right here, but I can certainly see this in person, just kind of adding that nice sunny glow along the hairline here. And I think I'll take a little bit of this cooler and deeper shade. Yeah, in the past when I was playing with this, I didn't really even attempt a lot of contour with this palette. I just kind of used the bronzers as bronzers, just sort of across the top, you know, where the sun would hit, top of the cheek area. But today I really wanted to see, can it go there? And I think it can. And the gentle sheen that these couple of bronzers have, I mean, it doesn't bother me at all. I look up close at my skin, I see no sparkle or anything. It's just a real natural look. And just like that, I've used all 3 bronzers. Happy with how things are looking so far. Now at a glance, I look at this and I see one blush. This, I mean, is very, very light. This shade right here, it almost looks like a peachy highlight. But then what's happening on that end? It's kind of like an extra cool bronzer. I'm gonna see if that shade surprises me and pick up a little bit with my blush brush. So we'll just dab in there. These shades are pretty soft. Like there's no dryness to the touch, so I mean, just be aware of that. It only takes a little bit when your brush goes in. Yeah, it's not really like rosy at all. It's more of like an additional bronzer shade over there, I think. There's really one shade that functions like a true blush for me, and it's pretty. It's this nice rosy satin finish right here. So I do really like that. I think it's gorgeous. I just think with 9 products in here, I wish we had even more to do blush with. Because I feel like we got ample options for bronzer and then these 3 highlighters here too. This is coming from a blush lover though. But this color could be a nice little like blush companion. This peachy shade, like add a little extra glow. Yeah, that's kind of pretty layered on top. It just brightens up your blush look even more. Swatched on my fingers here are the 3 highlight shades. You can see there's one that's a little more golden tone, and that's in the center. This color gives you like a sheer glow, and this shade, if you look up close at it, is a little more like buttery. It's got just a little more yellow in it. I'll try that one for you and just show it going on. You don't need a lot. A lot tends to pick up on your brush. But very pretty, very smooth looking on the skin. Just kind of buff that in on top. Oh, really like that look. And something I like about everything in this face panel is just the fact that they're all really smooth textures. You know, like these highlights will have shimmer. They really are glowy, but they're smooth and glowy. They kind of remind me of a Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector in that way. They're not loaded with like bits of chunkiness. You're not gonna turn into that like snow globe effect as you're dusting it on and stuff starts dusting everywhere. Like it really does kind of adhere to the skin. You get that feeling as you put it on. And now I think I'll do a little setting spray. I've got my Mario Badescu here. And this is my Soothing Lavender. I love that scent. But now we move on to the eyeshadows, and we've got 2 panels of 20 shadows. So they're all gonna be neutral. This is your matte side, and this is where I'm gonna start, just as far as setting up my look and getting, you know, just a little natural definition in my crease. Of what I've used so far, I've found these colors to be pigmented, but not intimidating. But I am first gonna tap into, let's see, this shade right over here. It's a nice soft brown, little warmth. You can have plenty of options for what you want to do in terms of your crease. I do also notice that you could have a lot of brow powder colors in here, right? Like I'm seeing some dark cool browns, deeper warm browns, medium kind of taupey shades. So I think you could kind of multitask your look. Heck, you could maybe go to some of these colors if you wanted a deeper bronzer on your face. So I've got that color right there. This is how you'd hold the palette right side up. So the bottom row, that's what I used. I've got a pesky hair that wants to hang on to this palette. I think I'm gonna pull in a little bit of this rusty red color because I haven't used that yet. And oh, that's nice. That's some really nice, just instant impact there. And just to have one shade like that, you know you've got the potential to get a very warm look. You've also got this kind of orangey shade, which is pretty, really rich, deeper warm browns. So you can go warm, you can go cool. You can kind of stay right in the middle too if you want to. So we instantly warm things up with that. I think I'm gonna grab a blending brush now, and I'll just kind of buff around my edge. Not that it needs a lot of help right now, but I always like to do that just to make sure. And then I'll use some of this little bit peachy toned highlight and just let that come right up under the brow and on the border of my color. I could see some of these creamy shades even working for me as like an under eye setting powder in a pinch too. So now I want to move on and show you some things from the shimmer side. So again, it's 20 shadows, all shimmery, not all exactly the same level of shimmer. These 3 shades right here are more of a satiny finish, and a couple of the shades down here in the bottom, just a little bit softer, more pearlescent sheen. And then a lot of these other shades, just downright like metallic looking, just a lot of glow, and even dark shades that have a nice sheen. And something I always say when we're talking about shades with a shimmer, don't think that those can't also be used in the crease, because they can. If you're shearing them out with a fluffier brush, you will not see that level of shine that you just saw on a finger swatch, you know? So today we've got Belle's first ever, kind of, I guess you call it a Christmas program. They call it the Snowman Sing at school. And so I think I'm gonna go kind of like rosy berry festive sort of for this look. I'm gonna start with some of this shade right here, this really smooth shimmer. I worked this into one of my other looks and I do like it, just patting that on right here in the innermost corner. And then I think I'll come in from the outside and layer on some of that cranberry color, because I don't know, if I were watching this video, I'd be interested to see how that shows up. But I love light in the inner corner. I mean, I'll go off the beaten path sometimes and do some halo eyes, try some different things. But when I look at my eye shape, I have to stop and realize that it's so flattering when I've got this light coming from the inside. Now we're gonna go into this kind of cranberry shimmer. And if you're familiar with my Once palette, and you know how I talk about some of the shimmers in there, I think they do a really good job when you pick some up on the brush and then you do sort of this gentle swipe across the skin, and then you see it lay down really well. And that's kind of what this reminds me of, because to touch it, like, it's a downright nice, buttery, creamy feeling shadow, but across the skin, you gotta just tug your brush and then you see it all kind of lay down. So just an observation there, but it's a really pretty color. Has a nice sheen, but it's not like over the top, you know? So I feel like these shimmers are very buildable, like they're pigmented, but you can, the more you add, the more shine you see. And now I feel like I've lost a little something on the inside, so maybe I'll go to yet another shade here, like this one. Doing that part first, I maybe should have done that second, actually. But what I would like to do is add a little more richness and depth to my outer corner, and I'm gonna use this deep warm brown here. And I'm using just a small outer corner brush. Get that color right in there. And you can give yourself sort of that eye lift effect, you know. Get it right there in the outer V, and think about pointing your shadow direction up toward the tip of your eyebrow, and you'll get kind of a lift. I mean, I feel like we're going pretty intense actually and dramatic here, and the palette's definitely keeping up. And it kind of reminds me of like dipping into a Viseart palette, just the color scheme, like the different shades that they have in there, you know, like their neutral matte palette or something. That's what the color scheme reminds me of. And then I think I'll just take a quick, you know, matte shade, maybe that same color that I used in the outer corner, and I'll let that sort of smudge under the eye. So that's my eye look and my face colors, and I'm just gonna finish up my eye look with some liner and mascara, and I'll be right back. Okay everyone, so here's the finished eye look, and what I did, I put on just a black liquid liner, didn't wing it out or anything. The lashes that I have on are Double Wispies. I got them in this great little kit from Ulta that had all different styles of wispies, and all I can say is I hope they start making those for sale just like individually or in a 3-pack or something, because I want to stock up. I love that lash style. And then I forgot I was still on my 31 days of glitter, so I used a couple of kind of reddish tone glitters. I first did the Vice from Urban Decay, and it wasn't quite enough, and that shade is called Copycat, and then I used Stila Next to Not, it's called, and I layered those up just on the lower lash line. I'm not sure you can tell what's happening there, but there's a little sparkle, so it counts for my 31 days, but I didn't want to totally like mess with the look because I wanted you to see what this palette alone could do. And then on my lips, I threw on my Pat McGrath gloss in the shade Flesh 4. It's got some sheerness to it, kind of like a sheer plum, I'd say. But I think it plays with this look nicely and kind of allows the eye to stand out some. But overall, I really enjoyed this palette. I really like the variety that's in here. If you're in need of neutral shadows or you're trying to just help someone build their collection, there are so many nice basics in here. A lot of things that could double as great brow colors. The face stuff just came off so radiant on my skin. I'm so pleased with that. Wish there were more blushes, but I mean, I got a lot of other blushes, so I can easily pull from my own stash there. But there's something about the separate matte and shimmer panels that I really like, and I thought they each balanced themselves out so well. Like you really had the things from each side to complement one another. And it is a little frustrating that with the 3 panels you have to have this unattached sheet. I almost wish if they had to have this in here, which I think they do need something, there needs to be a barrier between those two, but I wish they could have attached it somehow, so that way it's not just like flying around. But I tell you what, 32 bucks, I think a very impressive, very well-rounded, practical collection. For somebody who wants that everyday work look over and over again, but maybe a slight variation, the ability to switch it up slightly day to day because there just is so much shadow in here. I mean, 40 eyeshadows. You've got that, but then you can easily do some dramatic looks with this, some really pronounced kind of foiled metallics in here that are fun. So I would say yes, I'm very glad I picked this up, and if you find yourself with a Target gift card for Christmas or you need a quick last minute gift for somebody, I think this is an awesome, awesome find. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you very soon. Bye.